One of my mentors in the real estate space once told me that a good piece of property is like a woman. A lot of times you don't recognize the value until someone else does. And at that point, it's too late. So you better recognize the value in it right now when you have the opportunity to, you know. By the way, my name is Jimmy. For those who don't know me, I am the founder of Buy the Hood, also the co-founder of the Black Wealth Rebels. I talk about all things real estate and Bitcoin. So if you don't care about real estate or Bitcoin, you know, cut this off right now. At any rate, this past week, I saw a post on social media about an apartment that was being sold in Center City, Philadelphia in Rittenhouse. It was for $2.8 million.
Too much. This is more than just a new lust for you. Don't think about.
Done saying I'm done playing. Last time is on the outro. Stuck in the house, need to get out more. I've been stacking up like I'm fundraising. Most people in my position get complacent, wanna come places with star girls and they end up on them front pages. I'm quiet with it, I just ride with it. Moment I stop having fun with it, I'll be done with it. I'm the only one that's putting shots up in like a pot.
Nice apartment, nice views and all that. But what was interesting to me was looking at the comment section. And I'm not going to put anybody out there because it's not really about that. So I'll scratch out the names. But I'm going to show you some of the comments right here about this apartment. The overarching theme is that this property isn't worth it. You see stuff like, why would you spend $3 million to live in Philadelphia? Philadelphia is not worth it. People comparing their apartments and the rent they pay for their apartments to this condo that has a level of ownership, which is, you know, a whole different video where your apartment doesn't. Not saying it's better to buy than rent, because I understand sometimes it's not. Also a different video. By the way, I'm bringing this up because as someone who works in the data science field, who studies nothing but Philadelphia real estate, and also someone who also works in the field in terms of renting properties, selling properties. Yes, I still do act as a realtor, you know what I'm saying? Well, Realty One Group Purpose here in Philadelphia. Side note, if you need to buy or rent a place, I got plenty of places for sale and I got plenty for rent. And I'm also someone who builds property here in Philadelphia. So some of you may say, well, this is your Philadelphia bias because you're a developer here in the city. No, it's not. What it is really about my understanding of value. Right? And specifically Philadelphia real estate, because that's where I specialize. Now, I understand that people look at Philadelphia one way, and I came across this post from Brandon Jennings, former championship boxer, and it was on a whole different post, but matter of fact, he commented on a whole different post, and I thought this was like, you know, interesting statement because it sat with me for a while. It's probably the reason why I still got the screenshot, because when I read it, I was like, man, it's a lot of truth in that. And what he says is, everybody loves Philly except Philly. And it made me think about, like, you know, the creation of Buy the Hood. So shout out to my brother Corey, you know, who's in charge of all the education for Buy the Hood. Like, but when I created Buy the Hood, the intent was to educate people in my community about the value of their real estate, because I saw a lot of people complaining about, you know, gentrification and everything that's happening in our neighborhoods, but nobody was really doing anything and nobody was educating why. So, you know, I made it my business to explain from a value standpoint why there is value in our neighborhoods. Now, Buy the Hood blew up and became something else. But that was the original impetus in terms of creating Buy the Hood. So I just think it's interesting to see Philadelphians do the same thing, because most of the people with the negative comments in that video are from Philadelphia, right? And pulling back and looking at this from a macro level, when I look at the data from Boston, from New York, from DC, all of the cities that surround Philadelphia, specifically in the Northeast, and we can scale out even further if you want to, a condo like this in a major city, in most major cities, if I put this and put it in downtown New York or downtown Chicago or downtown DC or downtown Boston, it probably is worth twice as much as the 2.8 million that you're seeing right here, right? And also something else I know from looking at the data, and again, this is not my opinion, these are facts based on data. The closer you get to the CBD here in Philadelphia, and by CBD, that's the Central Business District, which is downtown Philadelphia, the more value property tends to have. In Rittenhouse, the numbers in Rittenhouse speak for themselves. At the end of the day, the value of something is what someone else is willing to pay for it. And as someone who always has apartments for rent, by the way, if you're looking for one, who always has houses for sale, if you're looking for one, who sells investment property, if you're looking for one.
You know my sales slogan. You want it, I got it. If I ain't got it, I'm gonna get it. So get it while the getting's good.
I put up posts a lot of times about, you know, the activity that I have going on in terms of what's for sale or what's for rent. And I read the comments and it's like, this is in Philadelphia. I can't pay this to be in Philadelphia. Here's the thing. Someone always rents it. Someone always buys it. Somebody is willing to pay for it. So something is worth what someone is willing to pay. And what it tends to happen now that I've been in this business for several years, how long has it been now? 27 plus years, right? I got into real estate as a teenager. So some of the decisions that people make now will affect them later, because I've seen people have to come back and circle back and now pay twice for a property what they could have paid before because they didn't see the value. They waited until someone else saw the value in their neighborhood, in their city. And guess what? You're going to be affected one way or the other because something is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. The other part of this is, I would say over the last 5 to 10 years, there hasn't been one piece of property that I put on the market for sale where I didn't have a specific buyer call me from out of town. And I say that because people from other cities, they see the value in our city. Do you see the value in our city, right? And sometimes we have to get out of our box, right? And the one thing I do want to say before I get out of here is I totally understand that it's a nuanced conversation because there's a lot of trauma that's built up in real estate, which no one really talks about. And again, whole other separate video. There's trauma in real estate. Also, we can get into the political aspect of real estate because one of the things about property, and I know everybody likes to say location, 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 but when you study appraisal science, we teach about PEGs. What's that? Physical, environmental, government, and social. The different things that contribute to value with a property. So recently I had a conversation with my brother, Coach Carter. Follow him on IG, Real Estate Coach Carter. And we were talking about where we see the Philadelphia market going. And a lot of the conversation started to talk about the political landscape because politics do affect what happens in the city. So it does affect value. But with that being said, there's still a lot of value left in the city. So I hope you see the value in it because when people from outside come in and start to buy up the property, you know, it's going to affect you one way or the other. So just want to make this video to talk real quick about value and how we see the value in our own city from our fellow Philadelphians. And also for those that watch outside of Philadelphia, salute to you as well, because I get inboxes all the time about people like, I love your city. I see the value in it.
Philadelphia, the neighborhoods, the food, the Reading Terminal Market, South Street. There's just Fairmount Park, the zoo. There's so much about Philadelphia that makes it special, to say nothing of Independence Hall and Carpenter's Hall and Congress Hall and the history, and now the Constitution Center, the museums, the Parkway. There's so much about Philadelphia. And as a young person living there and being able to walk to work and live in Center City, there's just, there's something unique about the city. And the talented people and the artists and musicians who've lived there over the centuries. So I feel very rooted in Philadelphia and always will.
And again, I get buyers from all over the world for properties that I put for sale here in Philadelphia. So a lot of times, you know, like Brandon Jennings says, everybody loves Philly except Philly. Make sure you do all the good stuff, you know, all the YouTubing and stuff. And if you're watching this on Facebook, subscribe to us on Facebook as well. This will probably be on all the pages, the Black Wealth Rebels, as well as By the Hood, and probably my personal page. You know what I'm saying? I'm Jimmy Williams. With all that being said, you know, do all the YouTubing and stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.